So first thing that I noticed here is that this is the end that I was trying to see if I could put my T-jet nozzles into. So this is a T-jet that I use quite a bit. This is a AIXR, so this is an air inducted, and try to go through here. Nope, doesn't fit. It's just slightly too wide to go through there. So it does come with this fan tip nozzle right here. So I will test this out and see what that is like, but I was hoping that I could do the T-jet nozzles in here. I didn't do any research whatsoever to see whether that was going to be the case or not, because I figured this can always just be a backup, pest and Roundup sprayer or something like that. But first thing is I noticed doesn't fit through here. All right, it's been a couple hours since I plugged this in. It's showing that it's all charged up, so go test it out. So first question is probably, why did I buy a cheap sprayer? And essentially, I don't know if you're anything like me, but it comes down to a lot of times I need some time to do some research on products and figure out exactly what I want to do. And in the meantime, sometimes I need another product just to get a job done until I find what I actually want. Now, I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but the other thing in this case was that I think I had something picked out in terms of what I want for my long-term sprayer, which I'm probably planning to still get. But it was about 2 weeks out in terms of order time to get it to me, and I have a very specific program that I like to follow. So I could either go back out there with my pump sprayer and keep pumping and doing all that stuff, but I had also put some glyphosate in that and sprayed a couple areas that I need to start for renovation work very soon. And so I just decided I don't really want to risk, even though I clean everything out, clean the tank out and all that, I just don't really love putting glyphosate in something and then going back to using a fertilizer right away on an area that I absolutely can't have an accident happen on, which would be this front yard. So I decided this was the fastest thing I could get to my door, about 2 or 3 days, and there were quite a few reviews that said, yeah, it's kind of on the cheap side as far as parts go and all this stuff, but as far as function goes, I don't see a whole lot of difference from some of the other sprayers. So that's what I'm about to find out. I can say overall, initial impressions of quality, definitely feels pretty cheap. All the plastics, the harness thing here, not going to be very comfortable. There's no backing piece here, so your back's going to be right up against the plastic. It's not something that I would love to have on all day. Also, see here this little piece of paper that's stuck here. I'm gonna have to put some marks on the tank, I think, here, or this thing obviously is going to get wet, and I don't see it staying on there long term. But first thing that I'm gonna do with the sprayer, or really anytime I use a new sprayer, is just put plain water in it, go use your driveway or somewhere where you can see your spray pattern, and just get a sense for how quickly things are coming out, how it's working with the pump, and that's what we're about to do. So let's put in about 1.5 gallons in there to start. Once you get this full, I would definitely set it on something to put this on, but for now, since I only have 1.5 gallons in there, I can just pick this up and put it in. The thing that I'd like to see more of is having a midsection belt here, because it takes a lot of the weight off of your shoulders and puts it down onto your hips. If you can tighten it here, then you don't have so much pull on your shoulders. So one thing with the harness I'm not a fan of right now, but so first things first, I'm just going to spray some water and see if there's any leaks anywhere. A little bit wider pattern than I'm used to with this nozzle. I don't really see any leaks anywhere. There's one edge of the nozzle on this left-hand side that seems to be spraying out of a more concentrated spot. Let's take it off here, make sure I don't see any other leaks anywhere, and mix up some product. Today I will be spraying some more Equalizer. This is the soluble, my favorite soluble fertilizer that we have with Lawn Supply Company. So 4 gallons of warm water here. You can use cold water, but since I have it available in our shop, I just went and filled this up quick. And warm water will just help solubles to dissolve a little easier anyway. So this is 4 to 8 ounces of this soluble product weighed out and then put into here, mixed up, and then we'll put it into the backpack sprayer. But I'm gonna go with the 8 ounce rate. And I don't have my scale out here today, but if you haven't done this before, I would definitely get like a kitchen scale, and then you simply just pour your powder in here, weigh out 8 ounces per 1,000. So if you got 4 gallons, then you would do 8 ounces times 4, so you would need 32 ounces of product. Since I've done this quite a few times, I know about how much I need to put in here just visually because of how many times I've done it. So get this mixed into here. I'm also going to add in some greener. This has a couple micros in it. It's iron and then magnesium and manganese, but specifically this is just going to be a little extra shot of darker color, especially if you have higher pH or something like that. Then a lot of times iron isn't going to be as available in the soil, and adding some iron to it can give it a little bit better color. So that's when we get it mixed up here, and then put that in the sprayer and we'll go test it out. I did keep the strainer in there this time just because I had a few pieces of mulch that had ended up on my drill there. Caught everything there and the liquid went through, so looks like it's working like it should. So first impression here, pressure is good on it. I'm getting good spray out of it. This nozzle, way too much drift on it, way too much mist. So unless I can figure out some sort of adapter to get my T-jets in here, which there should be a way to do it. I'll just have to look it up here and see if I can figure out how to do it. As far as this thread size, I tried to take my old piece off of my old sprayer and just put it on here, but the thread size wasn't correct. So I'll have to figure that out. But especially if you're in any sort of windy environment, which today it's not terrible right now, but if you were using anything that you didn't want to drift anywhere, this wouldn't cut it. See how much I've used. So that should have been 1,500 square feet. So I started at 4 gallons, obviously 1 gallon per 1,000. I'm at probably just over 2.5 here. So pretty close in terms of my walking speed, not too bad. Okay, plots are done. Let's test and see how much is left in here, because sometimes that's one of the things that I've not enjoyed about my other sprayer, was that it doesn't always get all the material out of there. That is very, very close to all of it out of there. I mean, we're talking very small amount, so I'm happy with that. So what are my overall impressions on the first use of this thing? As I mentioned, I definitely have to figure out how to get my T-jet set up in there, just because the nozzle thing is going to be I need to be able to switch the nozzle out to certain things for specific applications. If I'm in a windier condition, I need that AI nozzle. That's what I like to use in there. And then I'd like to be able to use some different ones in there from time to time. So there's got to be a solution for it. I just have to maybe figure out thread size here and see if I can figure out some adapter for that. I thought that I really wouldn't like these straps, but honestly, once you get it on your back, it's pretty lightweight by itself. I'm used to my other sprayer being a little heavier on its own. And so with the water in there, I didn't actually mind the straps. With how cheap these looked, they're not as bad as I anticipated they were going to be. And even having your back on the back of this plastic here, it wasn't really that bad. So that was me just judging on looks before actually trying it. And then of course at this point we don't know anything about longevity. So that's going to be the key thing with a lot of these products. You know, how long are they going to last? You're paying for a cheaper product, which most likely is going to mean there's cheaper components in here. So even though the shell might look the same as something else, whatever they're using for a pump, whatever they're using for the different plastic parts, it may just not end up lasting you as long. So I think that just comes down to, if you're getting into the spraying, you want to try something out, you don't want to spend a fortune on it to see if you like it or you don't like spraying, I would definitely say then maybe that's for you. If you're more of a buy once, cry once type of person, then it's probably going to be something that you take out of the box and say, well, it's a little bit on the cheap side and I don't think I'm going to see it last a long time. But I saw some reviews that said people had been using this specific model for quite some time, a lot of different sprays and a lot of hours on it, and it worked great for them. And in that case, it might just be that person got one that lasted a long time, maybe a different one won't, but it's very hard to say at this point. So I'm not really disappointed in my purchase, I would say. I will probably end up getting a better backpack sprayer because I need something that if I just happen to go use this and it decides it's not going to work today, then I've got to have another option for me and not have to hand pump all this area that I have to cover. But I wanted something quick that I could get to me, that I could get my spraying done, and I got the job done today. So I guess that's all I could really ask for. Those are my thoughts on this for today. I'm going to keep using this and see how long it lasts for me and give you some more feedback along the way if I have anything else to share. So thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.